Good morning, everybody. Do you hear me well? Okay, perfect. Okay, let's keep it. When it comes to home page, I don't really like to talk just about home page. It's about really creating content for international marketing, international SEO. The biggest mistake of all is from these big companies to think in terms of globalization. But actually globalization is like the Benetton adverts. It's thinking that everybody in the world are the same kind of people and wearing obviously Benetton t-shirts. But I don't think it's the right way to think about international marketing. It's better this word, glocalization. It's like when the coffee is not. It's a good example. We all know, if you live in Spain, you know that the Café Solo is a different kind of coffee than the espresso, and that Americans like the ugly American coffee, and others, like Aleida, likes to drink cappuccino in the night. So it's really different. The taste about the same product, coffee, it's really changing from country to country because of everything behind it. Culture, religion, behaviors, and blah, blah, blah. So we have to think about somehow schizophrenically with global and local at the same time. This is not a new thing. It's not something that I invented. Glocalization is a term invented by Roland Robertson back in the 80s, and substantially is the adaptation of globally marketed products and services into local markets. McDonald's usually used as an example of good glocalization. It's a global brand with a global product, but with specific products for the local markets. Starbucks is trying to do the same with presenting, for instance, in India, many things related with tea. So they invented a sort of frappuccino tea something, which must be awful for the Indian market. Products that are glocalized are by definition going to be of much greater interest to the end user, the person who ends up using the product, obviously. Because, the product is needed, is valid all over in the world, but because you are adapting, localizing it, and also localizing the messages around the products in order to attach the local points, the local interest, and so on, this product is going to be more interesting. So, what does it mean, glocalization, in terms of on-page optimization and content creation for, let's say, for a company that wants to internationalize itself or wants to optimize its international presence? Obviously, not simple translation. This would be, a part of it is bad by itself, but it would be just like thinking in globalization. Localization. This is a really good first step, but not necessarily enough. Transcreation. This is maybe the right way in order to achieve the best impact in local markets when you are internationalizing and globalizing your service, product, messages, and so on. What is transcreation? Transcreation is, let's say, creative localization. So you have the same product, you have the same message, so you want to transmit your value as a brand, as a company, your unique selling points for your product and service, but you make it in a creative way. So substantially you are reinventing the wheel and not necessarily just localizing the content you have in a specific market, or using the specific variation of a language. For instance, for Mexican Spanish or Spain Spanish. It's something more. However, just thinking about creative localization in terms of SEO is not enough. We must pay attention to local trends about our products. We need to pay a lot of attention to pain points related to our products locally. The local search intent. Local search intent is important because search intent varies from culture to culture, from countries to country. But obviously, in order to make it scalable, or for instance, for letting people like David to create campaigns that can be deployed globally, we also need to find what are the common interests between the countries that we are targeting, because this is going to make our work as for promotion, but also for creating common contents more easier. So let's go to cases. I'm going to talk about specific cases related to travel industry, but I think that we can extrapolate things that can be used for every kind of niche. So in this case, may a country be considered a product? Sure. So the product is Italy. The website needs to sell Italy as a product to the international global market and to specific countries in particular. So it's a multilingual site for starting, but he wants to target specifically 15 main countries. Chaos is the starting point because, okay, what can we do? Are we going to translate to do everything for the Italian website and then translate? What we do is translate before, let's say in English because it's global, or we need to prioritize the Chinese because we want to target the Chinese market, or what can we do? I come from the TV industry. In my past, I was producing TV series, documentary, and so on before I needed to reinvent myself as an SEO. But let's use the series production terms for developing a strategy. When we have to rethink all the localization and homepage of a site that is targeting substantially all the world with different version, multilingual version, and maybe also specific country version, we cannot do this kind of rework and revamping of the content for all the countries and all the languages at the same time. We need to test it. We need to create a pilot. So, what country of the 15 that were especially important for this website are we going to work first? It's relatively easy. You go on Google Analytics and you see from what countries are the ones that you are targeting and you are thinking are your priorities, you are already receiving traffic and how much. Then you go also to see how much organic traffic are you receiving from these countries. I highlighted Mexico and Spain because this site has a Spanish version. However, the client was thinking about Spain more than Mexico. So this simple observation was already telling us that there was some problem. Why this website was receiving more traffic from Mexico and from Spain than from Spain. A simple observation of the translation of the Spanish version was giving us the answer because the translation was made in a Latin American Spanish. They were substantially using the usted instead of a tu and so on. So substantially Google thought that this website was targeting Latin America and not really Spain. So this was surely something that should be addressed. Not now, but in the new context.